Mental Health and Its Relationship with Diet and Exercise by John McNeil. Why exercise is important for mental health patients. Evidence from multiple scientific publications suggests that exercise is an often neglected mental health treatment. People suffering from mental health diseases are more likely to live a sedentary lifestyle. This, coupled with possible side effects from medications, place individuals at a high risk for diabetes and other cardiovascular diseases. This makes exercise extremely important for the physical well-being of mental health patients. Exercise has several positive effects that help to improve one's mental health and lifestyle, including improved sleep, increased interest in sex, increased endurance, increased energy, weight reduction, reduced tiredness that leads to increased mental alertness, and reduced cholesterol. Besides the physical benefits that aerobic exercises have on the body of a mental health patient, exercises such as jogging, swimming, walking, dancing, or cycling have proven to reduce anxiety and depression. The mood benefits are linked to an increase in blood circulation to the brain and by positively affecting the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axes in the brain, which has a physiologic effect on motivation and exercise on mental health continued. Other possible reasons that exercise shows a decrease in anxiety and depression include distraction, increased self-esteem and self-efficacy, and the social interactions it provides. Diet and mental health. What one eats directly affects the structure and function of their brain, which in turn affects their mood. About 95% of serotonin, the neurotransmitter that helps to mediate our mood, regulate sleep, and appetite, and inhibit pain, is produced in the gastrointestinal tract. As a result of this, the workings of our digestive tract influence our emotions. Diet and mental health continued. Studies have shown that people who eat traditional diets, such as Mediterranean and Japanese diets, have a 25 to 35% lower chance of getting depression as opposed to people who eat a normal Western diet. This is due to the fact that Mediterranean and Japanese diets contain mostly unprocessed foods, many of which are fermented and act as natural probiotics. Probiotics are supplements that contain good bacteria that lines our GI tract and protects us from toxins and bad bacteria, as well as positively influencing the production of serotonin. Universal design. Universal design revolves around the idea of developing buildings, products, and environments that are inherently accessible to older people, people with disabilities, and people without disabilities. Principles of universal design. There are several key aspects for universally designed structures, including equitable use, flexibility in use, simple and intuitive, perceptible information, tolerance for error, low physical effort, size and space for approach and use. Having accessibility to dining and exercise facilities are very important to the mental and physical health of a college student. Let's see what Duke students and faculty think of the pros and cons of the design of Duke Rec and Duke Dining.
Alright guys, so my name is John McNeil. I'm in Dr. Q's Modernism and Madness Writing 101 class, and I'm working on my activism project. I'm here today with Jacob Levine, freshman at Duke University. So Jacob, Duke is obviously a great university, great people, great teachers, but it can be super stressful at times, as we all know. A lot of us are pre-professional, you yourself are pre-vet. Difficult classes, extracurriculars, maintaining a healthy social life, and getting enough sleep can be tough to balance sometimes, and we're all at probably a high risk for high levels of stress and anxiety, possibly even depression. So as far as benefiting our mental health, what do you think Duke Dining does well?
I think in general, the situations in which we're eating, be that at Marketplace or West Union, are important for our mental health just because it's a break from the classes and all the stress. It's a good time. You can eat alone, you can eat with your friends, but it's just a good break. Mm-hmm. And so like Marketplace in specific, it's good for freshmen because you have all the options and it's not really, you're not stressed about eating healthy because you can eat healthy if you want, there's a wide variety of foods, and that part is not stressful. And also because it's always almost always open. You don't have to be stressed about getting food and being able to eat because you can usually put it into your schedule without having to plan around it. And then West Union is also kind of the same. It's pretty nice because it's on West and we don't have to come back over to East to eat. and it's nice because it also has that variety. And but it's also kind of a different mood. You get more of the restaurant feel. You get served. And it's a little different, and it's also really nice because it has spaces to do all the different things that you might want to do. You can hang out with your friends. You can eat. You can just sit at a booth. You can study, and it's really nice just to have a space separate from all the fuss of school where you can just eat healthily.
Yeah, West Union is definitely a great spot. So apart from those positives, what do you think Duke Dining can improve on?
I think probably the biggest problem is after 9 o'clock when all these places have shut down, it's really hard to eat healthy, let alone eat at all, really. You only have the McDonald's open and some of the delivery places, and it's hard to get really any sustenance food, any good food.
Yeah.
And so I think it'd be nice to have a better option, even past like Trinity Cafe, where it's still kind of like not fast food, but food to go.
Yeah, the options are limited.
And it'd be nice to have a place open later, because we do stay up pretty late, and even though it's healthier to eat earlier, sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. So it'd be nice to have that. And at the same time, the only fast food places we have are McDonald's. So I think it'd be nice to have other places that you can go so you're not pounding McDonald's over and over again. And lastly, I think in West Union, even still, even though it's all a little bit expensive, the healthy places like Farmstead are particularly expensive.
Yeah.
And I think it's stressful having to make that conscious decision between eating healthy and kind of maintaining your budget, especially for freshmen who have very limited food points.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Jacob. Appreciate it. So I'm here with Andrew Tsai, a pre-med student here at Duke. He's a freshman, and we're going to talk a little bit about exercise and physical activity here at Duke. So Andrew, do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, so first of all, just exercise in general. I think that it's a great way to take a break from your studies. I know, there's definitely a lot of homework to do, and just getting out, not only doing healthy things for your body, but just taking that mental break, just focusing on something else, and then coming back to studying is really great just for mental health in general. And then just exercising is great.
Yeah.
For your health. I think that Brody, personally, as a freshman, I think that Brody is really accessible for freshman students. It has a lot of ways you can work all different muscle groups. If you want to swim, they have a pool, they have a track, basketball courts if you want to play pickup. And then also Duke Rec offers a lot of classes if you want to take Zumba or yoga. I enjoy taking study breaks and playing racquetball every once in a while. So it's great if you want to work out, if you just want to play pickup sports, it's there for you. Also, club sports and intramural sports, it's a good outlet to have a structured kind of team sport. Like if you played a sport in high school, you can lead that kind of track. I know that I've met several people through club tennis, and I have a friend who is on club volleyball who just went to Puerto Rico and had a great time, not only playing volleyball, but bonding with people, enjoying the beach, and just having a good time in general.
Yeah, so Duke Rec really provides us with the opportunity to exercise and get physically fit while also interacting socially with people, which are both big pros as far as boosting our mental health and de-stressing. So,
yeah, for sure. And
is there anything you think Duke could do better as far as the exercise facilities or the way the club sports or intramural sports are run? Or
yeah, I think that club sports and intramural sports are great. You have a team and whatnot, but I think that for a lot of people, if they don't want to have this set thing every week, and they obviously have busy schedules, maybe every Saturday having a pickup soccer tournament at the fields or pickup basketball every once in a while, that would be a good opportunity, not only to meet people, but
a more informal way.
Yeah.
If you don't want to pay the dues, or if you don't have enough people to form a team with, just Duke Rec just sends out an email and just hey, whoever wants to come, we'll be hosting pickup soccer this Saturday. Yeah, that'd be a great way to meet people and exercise.
And then also the hours, I know people are really busy during the day, and if it opened a little bit later, if people wanted to fit that into their schedule, it might be beneficial as well. But yeah.
Yeah. All in all, it seems like Duke does a pretty good job of providing us with exercise outlets.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad to have Brody here, and I know that Wilson is a really great facility as well. So next year I'll definitely be using that.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, so John McNeil, working on my activism project for Dr. Q's Writing 101 class, and I'm here with Tony, a nutritionist at Duke. So yeah, if you just want to give a little background about maybe what your degree is and what you do for the university.
Sure. I'm a registered dietitian, licensed dietitian, and I'm also a certified eating disorder dietitian.
Okay, cool. So I guess another question I was going to ask. So why do you think eating healthy is important for like a college age kid, and how that affects our mood and our lifestyle and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it's there's the big transition coming to school to begin with, right?
Yeah,
for
for
most
sure.
people your age coming to school, your meals have pretty much been taken care of, right? You haven't really had to think about it
Yeah.
in the past. So, one, that's a big transition. What I typically find with students is they kind of forget that the timing of their meals is really important.
Mm-hmm.
So what I tend to always go back to for people is, you really need to be eating about every 4 hours during the day while you're awake.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're pretty active. Your brain kind of needs that constant source of carbohydrate and energy, and really to keep your blood sugar levels stable. Because when your blood sugar levels dip,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not responding to that hunger, it can affect your mood. It can affect your concentration. It can make you feel stressed. It can make you feel anxious. So I always talk about 3 things with students. One was timing, making sure you're eating about every 4 hours while you're awake. And for most students, your schedule tends to
Super
change.
busy, yeah.
Yeah. Your days shift. So thinking about that timing with whatever time you wake up in the morning, trying to eat something within an hour
Mm-hmm.
of getting up, and then kind of keeping on top of that every 4 hours. So talk about timing. And then
Okay, cool. So yeah, timing is definitely really important. And then what were the other 2 tips that you were gonna?
So the other things we were talking about were balance and mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
So balance, we're really talking about making sure we include foods from all food groups, and not just one. So making sure that we've got a good source of protein at every meal, a good source of carbohydrate, all these things, good source of healthy fat, all these things kind of help balance your blood sugar levels and keep you kind of fuller longer, and get you from meal to meal or meal to snack with enough energy, and without preventing dips in blood sugar that can make you feel kind of internally anxious, or help you might lose focus or become irritable, that kind of thing. It's really helpful.
Cool. And what about
And then-
mindfulness? Yeah.
And then mindfulness, kind of thinking, one of the really big things I try to tell students is to kind of focus on when you're eating, sort of being in the moment with your meal, so your brain is also satisfied.
Mhm.
So not eating while you're doing the most stressful thing, like not eating while you're working, so that your brain is also engaged in the process of, I've had something to eat, I can go back and focus a little bit better. Because sometimes people eat while they're doing the thing that's most stressful to them, and they may overeat, they may undereat because they're not really engaged in the process.
Yeah.
So timing, balance, mindfulness are typically the things that I talk to people about.
Cool. So those are all really great tips. So what do you think Duke Dining does well to allow us to follow those tips, like eat healthy, have a balanced diet?
Yeah, I think that they provide a variety of different types of food options and ways to get food. There's like 30 plus places to eat on campus, in different forms, whether it's West Union, the Loop, different cafes on campus, and then being able to order from Merchants on Points, food trucks, things like that. So I think there's a good variety of ways to get food.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Besides the variety, besides what Duke does well, is there anything, if you were in charge, that you think we could improve upon?
Yeah, I think just letting students know that there are ways to eat well without spending all your food points. I think students are kind of under the impression that that the dining options are really expensive, but I think there are ways to navigate the meal plans and the food points and the cafes in ways that are more manageable. And I'm with a student intern that I have. I'm actually working on creating a handout. It's called Balanced on a Budget. And so telling people ways that they can maximize their food point usage for maybe $20-$25 a day. It still sounds like a lot, but it's pretty reasonable compared to if you're thinking you're getting 3 meals and 2 snacks is what I've broken it down into.
Okay, cool.
And food beyond fast food.
Yeah.
So,
and then you, if you wanted to talk about the Devil's Advocate a little bit.
And then the other thing that we did is created this little booklet. It's called The Devil's Advocate, which has all the places that you can eat on campus. And what we've gone is looked at them all for you and picked out some of the more balanced, more nutritious meals. And then we've also coded them for this venue sells, has gluten-friendly options or vegetarian options. So it's a really helpful little booklet. It's on our website, on the nutrition website. And we also have one that's called Merchants on Points that is the same type of booklet.
Cool. And just to finish up, so say for example I was a Duke student who wanted to better my eating habits, what options are available to me as far as like meeting with a nutritionist or like you, for example?
So there are 2 nutritionists on campus, myself and Franca Alphen, and visits with us are covered by your student health fee, so we don't bill insurance, there's no charge to you, and you can either reach us directly by contacting us on our website. You can also book an appointment online through our website. It's just Nutrition Services, Duke Student Affairs website. You can also book through the Student Health website or call the Student Health main number and make an appointment that way. And there's no limit to appointments, and again, there's no charge. And that's the majority of what we do. We meet with students one-on-one for any nutrition concerns that you might have or questions.
Cool. Alrighty, Ms. Stone. Well, thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thanks, John.
Pleasure.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So hi everyone, John McNeil here, working on Dr. Q's, my activism project for Dr. Q's Modernism and Madness Writing 101 class. I'm here with Jay Panday, a freshman at Duke studying computer science. And we're just going to talk a little bit today about exercise and dietary stuff and how that affects mental health. So Jay, being a student with disabilities, how do you think Duke provides you with the things you need to have a healthy and balanced diet and to get exercise that's adequate for being to help you stay in peak physical shape and in turn good mental health shape?
Certainly. So first of all, with dining services, obviously Duke is ranked #1 in dining, so the food is very good over here. But the other thing is that the dining staff are also very helpful for people like me with disabilities that need some assistance getting food. Like I often have someone with me in the dining hall, but on the times that I'm not able to have someone with me, dining staff is very willing to have someone actually go around with me and then put food on my plate, like the food that I want, and then take it to the table. So like at Marketplace, like there are people that will do that for me when I need it. So in that respect, I think Duke does assist people with disabilities very well in getting their food, at least on East Campus. As far as West Campus, I'm not exactly sure as to how the same services could be
Do you not eat
utilized.
on West that often?
Well, not as much this year, and especially not when I'm without help
Okay.
of my own. But I imagine that those same services could be utilized because the Student Disability Access Office is very helpful with any sort of accommodation that students with disabilities need. So yes, so I'm sure that if there were a real need for those services for any individual, they could contact the office and get that sorted out. So yeah, I think Duke does a very good job with helping people with disabilities get the food that they need. I think there are some larger issues with when people with disabilities want to make their own food.
Okay.
Like going to the store and getting groceries. I know for me, like that's something that I would not be able to do on my own. Like
Yeah.
physically carrying the groceries, like reaching into high places, like even maneuvering around in some instances is difficult, especially like with a cart or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think there are some larger issues with stores not maybe not being as accessible as they maybe could or should be for people with disabilities. And even like cooking equipment in some senses, like if you're working with gas and like you don't have like good balance like I do or something like that, like it can be kind of dangerous. I think
Yeah.
Duke actually uses the safer stoves in particular. So I think that is also one plus that I've seen. Like they use the ones that heat up, and then you don't have to worry about the gas thing or any safety concerns related to that. But yeah, I think in general there are larger issues with accessibility around cooking and making one's own food. As far as wellness, I think for me personally, I have a condition that requires that I spend a significant amount of time exercising and doing stretches and that sort of thing to maintain my own physical condition, to stay walking, and that sort of thing. And I think Duke has been very accommodating, for example, with space needs. Like I have a bike that I keep in my dorm room that I use every day. I have an exercise mat that I have to use every day, and Duke has been very willing to work with me to find the space that I need for all those things. And I think also the facilities at Duke in general, as compared to other like recreational facilities, are very good. For me, it's a plus because Brody is right across from Randolph here, so I can go and basically work out whenever I want to. Again, I think there are some larger issues here with accessibility of machines in general, which I don't think is necessarily an issue with Duke specifically, but some machines, like I know in Brody there's like a leg extension machine, for example, that I can't get up onto myself. Like I need like someone to bring a step stool over.
Mm-hmm.
So there are issues like that where machines aren't not fully accessible, and they are even as accessible as they should be, you could say. Like I know for me, working out is a big part of my routine, the physical routine that I need to do to maintain my condition. And if there were more accessible machines, I think it would be definitely much easier for me to work out, and I would probably do it more often. So yeah.
Alright, cool. Seems like all in all, there's some positive aspects, but there's definitely some room for improvement.
Yeah, I think in general, as far as the issues that are specific to Duke, Duke does a very good job of making sure that all students have equal access to everything that Duke has to offer, including dining services and recreational services and that sort of thing. So yes, I think Duke itself does a very good job, but there are larger issues that are not necessarily Duke specific that do pose issues for people with disabilities.
All right. Well, thank you, Jay. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
So, while it is evident that Duke does many things well with regards to providing students with and without disabilities access to modes of exercise, healthy eating options, and nutrition specialists, there is still much that can be done to improve how Duke serves its community members. One idea for how Duke can better serve students, faculty, and visitors is through implementing universal design around campus. Ideas for what could be done on campus. As Jay mentioned earlier in the video, some exercise machines are not very accessible for people with disabilities. Therefore, in the future, it may be in the interest of the university to buy or design exercise machines more obliging to people with physical limitations. Duke is also not a very well labeled campus. Having meaningful icons with text labels that help point people in the correct direction around campus could be beneficial. Ideas for what could be done on campus continued. In some of the older buildings on campus, especially the bioscience and physics buildings, the hallways and doorways are very narrow. This is not very accommodating for people that may be in wheelchairs or have a walker, or if a large crowd of people is moving through the building. Using some of Duke's large endowment to widen interior doorways and hallways would be an example of how universal design could improve our campus. Within dorm rooms, light switches are small toggle switches. This is not very accommodating for people that may have poor dexterity. Converting these toggle switches to large flat panels would make it easier for people with disabilities or compromised dexterity to turn their lights on or off.